Hey, I'm Wendy, and this is my weekly series, Love Blossom Lipstick. I'm gonna get ready for work, pick up where I left off last week, and when my makeup's done, my story for today will end. Let that primer dry for a second. So picking up, last week, we were planning our wedding, and we bought and we're remodeling a house. So now it was our wedding day, and a typical Jewish wedding has both parents walk the bride and the groom down the aisle, and neither Steve or I had a dad. I thought about my mom just walking me down the aisle by herself, which was totally fine, but I had an uncle, my dad's older brother, and I thought maybe I would ask him. He might like to be able to do that for my dad, and I would at least ask. And his daughter, my cousin, was my maid of honor because I told my sister that she lost the job. And then all of my best friends were my bridesmaids. My cousin said she didn't have a problem with that. I asked her first because she wasn't married, and I just didn't know if she would feel any certain way about her dad giving me away before he ever gave her away, but she said it was totally fine. And I asked my uncle, and he accepted, and so that was going to be the plan for me. And then Steve had his friends' parents who were like his other family, and he would ask the dad if he would walk with him and Steve's mom, and of course he accepted. And the other mother, who Steve really wanted to feel included in all of this because she was super important to him, she helped us with so much. She made our centerpieces for the tables. She made my headpiece. And she would sit with the family in a reserved seat, front row at the wedding, and would be acknowledged. My niece and Steve had a niece. They were both going to be our flower girls. And my cousin's son, who when he turned 1, that was at very beginning, he was going to be our ring bearer. And of course the ring was a little bit of an issue at that first birthday party, which was when Steve and I just had met, and he had a ring that was circulating around this party that people were like, oh, Wendy, maybe that'll be yours one day. And it really was really beautiful, for sure. But that was not the ring he proposed with. And so he did take the one he proposed with back. And I did get the other ring, although we decided we had it remade. The center stone belonged to his grandma, so it was really special, but it was an old miner's cut, and it didn't really do it justice. It was a pretty diamond. It was really big, and actually we were going to lose, I forgot how many points, by having it recut into a brilliant cut, but that's what we decided to do. And then when our first Hanukkah, he gave me a ring just as a gift, and so we took all the diamonds. It was like a, I don't know what they call it, pave setting or whatever, all the little diamonds squished together. And so we took that apart and had my wedding band made out of that. So it was super sentimental, and it had a lot of meaning, and I was really excited about the way that it turned out. So the wedding party was set, the wedding is set, ready to go. I went that morning to the salon where I worked, and one of my friends did my hair. The wedding was at a hotel, so we were able to check into our room, me and all the girls, and then I did all of their hair and makeup. We had all day. The wedding was scheduled, the ceremony was at 5. So I did my mom's makeup and her hair, and then I did some of my girls' hair and makeup, and We just hung out all day, and that was fine with me. I wasn't complaining about having to work on my wedding day. I don't know what else I would have been doing. But everything was ready to go. Steve and I were walking in through the same door, so I had to stay hidden because we opted to not take pictures before. He didn't want to see me. He did not want to see the dress. We worked so hard to keep it hidden from him while we were working on it. And he's like, no way. He's like, I don't want to see you before. I don't want to do pictures before. Let's just keep it, a secret. So his other mother was supposed to be escorted down the aisle by her son, who was Steve's good friend, to be, and the grandparents. There were certain people that were escorted down the aisle, and she was one of them because she was special, but she wasn't there. We couldn't find her. I mean, we knew she was there in the hotel, but we didn't know where, and she didn't come down. And then we got word that she wasn't coming down. Actually, I didn't get word. I knew nothing, as it should be. I knew nothing. Steve knew, and he just opted to proceed, of course, without her, which was super disappointing. And, I don't know that we ever really even found out what that was even about. He might have found out, but I was kind of over it. It didn't really matter to me. He was just so hurt, and I don't know. But I remember walking down the aisle and seeing Steve, of course, with like the biggest smile I had ever seen. And my uncle and my mom gave my hand to him, and we were in this big ballroom, and it had a stage. And so the stage, we had the chuppah that we were going to get married under. It's like a canopy, but anyway, so we step up onto this stage, and then once we were up, the whole thing rose like a show because, it was Steve. It was a show. It was this production. He wanted to make sure the people in the back could see. And so the stage rose, and it was super dramatic. And we got married. We both struggled with the Hebrew, saying our vows in Hebrew. It was a little bit comical, but it was light. We laughed. We did our best. We got the English part down well. This particular rabbi told us, we didn't belong to a congregation or a synagogue, and so we had met this rabbi, and we didn't really have a history with him, but we did meet with him over the year that we were engaged, so he could get to know us. But and of course, he worked in the entertainment business. Go figure. It was perfect. He was perfect, but I don't even know where I was going with that. But anyways, he said that in a Jewish wedding, at the end, during the ceremony, you both drink from the same wine glass, and at the end, the groom steps on the wine glass to break it. And there's lots of different meanings. One of the meanings is that, marriage relationship is very fragile, like a glass, and once it's broken, you're never going to put all the pieces back together again. And so to just really treat it kindly. There's some other versions of what it means, but he told us we should use the light bulb because it makes a really great pop sound when it's stomped on. And it would be wrapped up in a napkin anyway, so nobody would see it, but we thought, he's the expert. He's done this obviously more than we have. So we're like, okay, yeah, we'll use the light bulb. Well, I don't know where he got his light bulb, but it took Steve like 3 tries to get that thing to break. So that was kind of funny too, but it broke, it was official, and we were married. We had a great time at the reception. Oh, but before that, we had to take our pictures because we didn't take them before. And so the plan was while we were doing pictures, everybody would go out into this like foyer area at the hotel and have drinks and hors d'oeuvres. And they would turn the room around. The reception was in the same room that the wedding was in. And so they would get it turned around for the party and dinner and dancing and the works. So anyways, we were taking our pictures, family. We got ours done, and then it was time for the family photos. And we did my family, which is pretty small, but we did ours. And then we were doing Steve's family, and he even had family that came in from England, and his grandparents, and he had an aunt and uncle, and I don't know what I was thinking, but they're like, okay, we're gonna do the groom's family now. I'm like, okay, great. While you guys are doing that, I'm going to go get something to eat, and then I'll meet you back here. And they were like, Wendy, you are the groom's family. I thought, oh, right, oops. So we got over that. But the reception was a lot of fun. And like I said, this was a hotel, and it was a big ballroom. We had some wedding crashers we didn't even realize were there. We had an open bar, and we had these guys come in. And talk about nerve. Let's see, I'm looking for some here. I guess I can't find it. Anyways, you talk about nerve. They actually went out to catch the garter. And so Steve throws the garter, and actual wedding crasher is the one who caught it. And so everybody's like, yay, great. And he's twirling it around on his finger and dancing around. And we're like, who is that guy? So we kicked him out, him and his friend. And we had to do a do-over. So that was fine. It was just funny. And then the party ended, and the next day we had a brunch that a bunch of us went to, which was very nice. And then our immediate family went back to our house to open presents. I told Steve, you know, he had lived on his own for so long, and I didn't have stuff because I still lived at home. I'm like, oh, we're gonna get so much stuff for our wedding. Like, don't even bring your sheets and towels and things like that. And wouldn't you know, we did not get one set of sheets or towels. We got china galore, which was nice. And we got a lot of stuff off our registry, but it was just kind of funny that we had to start digging through boxes to be able to make the bed and take a shower. So anyways, we had that at the house, and that was really great. Everybody left, and then Steve had to pack. Not because we were going on a honeymoon, but because he had to work. He was leaving for 2 weeks the next day for a shoot. And I knew what I signed up for. I knew this was my life. And, you know, I was okay with it. We just bought a house that we, oh goodness, I have an eyelash. Sorry about that. We just bought a house that we remodeled. We didn't really have a lot of money to go on a honeymoon anyways. So he left. And I got to do some unpacking and moving myself in, because I didn't move in before we got married. So I had things to do, and of course, get right back to work. It was all good. And then he came home, and he was so excited. They had a great time. And I mean, I talked to him while he was gone, but we didn't text. So it wasn't like, you know, things are today. And they were super busy, and production is a lot of long days. So I don't even know if I talked to him every day. But he came home, and he was excited about how it went, and excited about how, you know, all the people he met. He was working freelance now because he left his job in San Diego when we bought the house. So he had to work, but he got his pictures developed. You know, you had to take pictures with the camera and then get them developed. So he got his pictures developed, and he was so excited to show me. And there was pictures of cameras, pictures of sets, pictures of people I didn't know, stories. And this one girl, he showed me, and there's a picture of her sitting on his lap. And I'm like, what is that? He's like, oh, don't get weird about it. He said, if I had anything to hide, I wouldn't be showing you these pictures. And I'm like, but sitting on your lap, really? But anyways, so yeah, we'll talk more about that next week. I'm ready, I gotta go. Thanks for watching, bye.